I have two questions that we lined up from different people that emailed for this. Sarah asked, when should I file my own taxes versus like using an H&R Block or CPA? And then Mike had asked a similar question, what's the difference between a CPA and an enrolled agent or an EA? And so I thought I'd just kind of combine those into one answer since it's tax season and people are all looking at that. Obviously, it depends on complexity kind of for that first part of it, right? I would say, right, if you are right, W-2s with like a bank interest 1099 and not much else, right? Then you could definitely just file your own taxes on TurboTax, H&R Block, whatever else. It's just a matter, right? Because they're pretty good at guiding you through, and there's not that much that can happen there. I'm not saying you should always do that or that you should never use a professional if you are in that situation, because there are still surprising things that can happen even for people who think their taxes are really similar. They're still missing out on strategies. Like, yes, you can accurately file your taxes, but if all you do all the time is DIY your taxes, you're probably just missing out on strategies to actually save. It's like, hey, you're not doing it wrong. You're filing correctly for last year, but you're not aware of the things you're missing going forward if you're never working with someone who knows what they're doing and can not only do the tax prep, but the tax planning. And we covered that last week. There's videos on our channel about the difference between tax prep and tax planning. So I don't want to get into that again. But so that'd be the kind of thing. As soon as you get into things like you have rentals, you have retirement distributions, you have Roth conversions, any of those kind of extra complications, you're definitely going to want, especially the first time. This would be a big thing. If you're really like a big DIYer, hey, I really want to do it myself with TurboTax, I would say if you ever have big changes, get a professional to do it the first time. Right? If you get a rental, get a professional to do it the first time, and then you can see what they did and do. Like, we see so many people with like rentals and stuff like that they've been doing it for a while and they've been messing something up the entire time. And so don't try it the first time. Get some help. The difference between like an H&R Block person versus an enrolled, I'm going to stick enrolled agent in here, put those two together, and a CPA, kind of three things, right? So we always say, right, the base level for anyone is like just like a paid tax preparer, right? And the level that they need to achieve in order to get that is really low. It's not that hard. And so it's basically just internal training from H&R Block or whatever on how to use the software and get things through there. So again, if you just want to dump it off for the cheapest price, you can do that. They don't know tax strategy. They don't know tax planning. They're not going to be able to help with anything besides putting your information in basically TurboTax. And I'm not necessarily casting aspersions on H&R Block specifically, just like discount tax preparers. And so level of competence, level of training, not that high. And then you've kind of got the enrolled agent and CPA. I didn't do this well enough, so let's do CPA here. So you got those two. CPA is what everyone is familiar with, right? And these people are super smart. They have way more training, right? It takes a 5-year accounting degree, plus all this extra studying to pass the CPA exam. The CPA exam itself, a lot of it's on like auditing, on like financial statements for companies, and there's some on tax prep and planning. And if you elected the planning specific route, there's a different planning routes that you can go, and this is all kind of a change. Before that, they didn't have those routes, so this is the new test for them. So some of them can do those things, and they are trained in tax prep. They do know that, but most of their training, I guess I didn't center that very well. Most of their training is on corporate taxes. So they can, like a CPA can run circles around the EA or anyone else when it comes to corporate finance. So like I'm an enrolled agent and I don't know anything about how to audit corporate statements, right? It's not my training. Enrolled agents have a 3-part exam, and that's on personal taxes, business taxes, and like practices and representing you before the IRS. So here would be a big distinction. If you are using just a tax preparer that's unlicensed or doesn't have any specific CPA or EA designation, and they make a mistake, it's completely on you. Like if the IRS sends you nasty grams, they might be able to help you with it, but they can't represent you to the IRS. You need either a CPA, enrolled agent, or a tax attorney to be able to help you with the IRS. And so definitely you get not only a higher level of expertise, but that actual protection that for someone who can fight for you and talk to the IRS on your behalf, right? And so the enrolled agent has all the training that you should need to actually do taxes, personal taxes, business taxes, and do the tax planning, especially if that is paired like with what we have, where I've got also the certified financial planning, other people on the financial planning, fiduciary financial planning network also have that, right? And so this is like the comprehensive, hey, can do all the financial planning, including tax planning and retirement planning, all those. And you marry that with the enrolled agent, which is here's how you prepare taxes and file those correctly. And that's a good combination for not only do it correctly, but then looking for those opportunities to do tax planning down the road. I will say we occasionally will run into people where, you know, EAs and CPAs will just say, hey, put it all in traditional because you'll pay less taxes, right? They kind of have an incentive to say, you know, pay the least amount of taxes possible because then I get you a bigger refund and you come back to me next year, right? And so they're not always looking out ahead and doing those tax planning where someone who can see the bigger picture might say, you know what, actually, you need to pay more taxes now because it'll actually help you pay less overall, right? Again, back to the tax prep versus tax planning angle that we talked about last week. So I would say, depending on your complexity, right, you would want, if it's very simple, you could do it yourself, or you could have a prepper do it at H&R Block. But for the difference, you're probably better off just having a real CPA or enrolled agent do it. We do taxes as well. We do one-off taxes if you just want your taxes done. We do taxes of our clients, so people that work with us on a total comprehensive capacity get their taxes included, and we prep those with tax planning in mind. But hopefully that just helps explain kind of the difference between the different levels and when you might need one over the other. So I would really encourage you to find someone who knows tax planning and tax prep, is good at all that stuff, and how all those things fit together.